When I moved to Canada and decided that I was going to start my business, nobody told me that starting a business didn't have anything to do with your talent, your products, your passion, but rather it has a lot to do with psychology, culture, and survival. Yes. Now, today I'm going to tell you 10 things I wish I knew before I decided to start a business right here in Canada. So, if you're an immigrant thinking about starting a business, pull up a chair because you're going to want to hear this. You're going to want to listen. You're going to want to watch this video, listen to it wherever you're listening from because it's going to save you a lot of time and money. Now, recently I decided to close my business, and it wasn't for a lack of passion or a lack of time. It was more so a lack of, direction and, purpose in terms of what my purpose actually is and the direction that God wants me to go into. If you believe in God, right? I do believe firmly in God, and I put him at the forefront of everything that I'm doing. So, or her, but yes, but I put God at the forefront of everything that I'm doing. And recently I've come to the realization that the type of business that I started isn't the type of business that God actually wants me to pursue. But along the way I have learned a lot of things that I've developed so many skills that are just really just invaluable. You won't learn these skills in any business school. I am a marketing major, and I'm minored in business administration. And let me tell you, these skills are not taught in school, especially in this day and age. There's just so much to keep up with social media and marketing, and with all the competition that's out there and the side hustle culture that we actually do have in today's day and age, with job shipping and all those different type of business model. You name it, I have tried it. So I'm coming to you with a wealth of knowledge, not a wealth of success, rather, but just knowledge and experience of actually trying and doing it. I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell you that, oh, I was this big successful businesswoman. I have not been so far. But I can tell you that I have had successes, and I've had wins, wins worth celebrating, and wins that can actually put me in a position to be able to tell you what to do and what not to do. So without further ado, these are 10 things that I would definitely look into before I start my business here in Canada. A lot of us will start a business out of passion, but passion is not good enough. And that's the number one lesson I have to give you guys. We like to say that, oh, I work and it doesn't feel like work. I guarantee you that when you start a business, it's the hardest that you're ever going to work. It's the most you're ever going to work. You're complaining about a 9 to 5 job right now. You're going to work at least 20 hours a day because your brain never goes off, because everything is going to be on you. So passion really isn't enough. You really have to look at your structure, your business, a plan, a pricing model that actually makes sense, because Canada requires a lot of structure. If you're going to be doing this big, if you're really going to be doing this, starting a business, you're going to need structure. And let me tell you something, passion will let you burn right out without that structure. You need that structure, and sometimes passion doesn't necessarily goes hand in hand with structure. Your first audience isn't your real audience, because a lot of people will actually cheer you on when you're just starting your business. They'll say, hey, I love this, I love that you're making this move. But when it comes to money, when it comes to them spending that money, it's crickets. They're nowhere to be found. So your family and your friends, they're gonna cheer you on, but they're not necessarily gonna support you financially. It's the strangers. So your networking skills, you're gonna have to work on your networking skills. Talked about networking, but marketing is not even an option. Marketing is oxygen for your business. You can build the most beautiful website, but if you don't know how to market that product, it's gonna sit there for months upon months without any sales. And let me tell you something, when you have that business, you have to go out there, you have to go on the grind, because Canada is filled with lots of competition, and as an immigrant, you don't know anybody really. You just know your little immigrant friends. Most of us just know, all we know is our little immigrant friends who are coming from Jamaica or coming from wherever, whichever other Caribbean island or wherever it is that you're coming from. You might know a group of people within that community. They will support you, but a lot of people, as I said previously, they might not support you continuously. So they might buy from you one time or two times, but that continuous support that you need to be hitting businesses up. You need to be going out there and putting yourself out there. Like, you really have to take on that hat, that role of a business owner, and really champion the sales and marketing of your business. You're going to be your biggest spokesperson. So be prepared to know that marketing is not optional. You're going to be the person to be doing all of the marketing, making cold calls if you're a service-based business, sending marketing emails, and really showing up in person. So that's one of the things that I struggled with, because I was working 9 to 5, and in order for me to be able to do and push my business to where I really needed it to go, I would have to take that leap of faith. So be prepared to be able to take that leap of faith financially to go out and really market your business. Otherwise, it's just going to be a side hustle, a thing that you're doing on the side that you're barely making anything off. Without taking that plunge, deep diving into your business, it's not going to take off the way that you anticipate it to take off, especially if it's an online business like the one that I had. The cost of doing business will really humble you, because let me tell you something, there is something humbling about spending a lot of money without getting anything in return. And when you're just starting out, be so very prepared for that. Packaging, labeling, your website cost, your product cost, if it's a product-based business, it's going to cost you. And this isn't applicable to every business, because if you're a service-based business, then of course your startup cost is going to look a little less. But if you're a product-based business like myself, I had a candle making business, and a really good candle brand, right? It was no pian pian, as we say in Jamaica, brand. But be prepared to spend more than you're actually prepared to spend. So double the cost. Whatever you had budget, double that cost, because every single thing costs. Registration, insurance, depending on the type of business that you have. So make sure that you're budgeting for those things. If you can, get a business loan. If you don't have all of the money to come out of pocket, I say borrow a loan, use the bank's money. It's always better to use the bank's money than your own, but use it wisely. But just be prepared that that cost is gonna cost you double than what you budget for. Winter will definitely affect your sales. It's going to affect your sales because people move differently in the winter. People are lazier. People don't want to spend as much. So if your business actually provide comfort, like a candle making brand, those were the months that actually candles sell more, because it's good for gifting, and I offered personalized products, right? So it's a good for gifting and stuff like that. And of course, in the winter you want to cozy up with your blanket, some hot chocolate, and a candle going. So that type of business will definitely do well in the colder months. But say for example, if you have a landscaping business, be prepared that you ain't gonna have no customers during that time of year. So what you need to do, you need to pivot and maybe offer a different service during that time of year, right? Maybe you want to offer snow removal. I actually have a friend who does that, who pivots between seasons. So be prepared to know that the season will definitely affect your business, because customers spend differently during the colder months here in Canada. One of the reasons why I think that Canadians do better at business than we do is because they have community, something that we don't necessarily have here. They have a wider community because they are a part of the Canadian community, right? If somebody here starts a business who is Canadian, chances are they're going to know a lot more people here than I do, right? And really just know that community matters. Community matters more than your products, because if you're building something and nobody's talking about it, nobody knows about it, then you might as well just stop. So make sure that you're posting in the community groups. So join your Facebook marketplace, join those mom groups on Facebook and actually post and be active in them. The next thing that I've learned is that immigrant hustle is actually real, but burnout is also real. Remember that you cannot pour from an empty cup because, we are new to Canada. A lot of us, we take on a lot, way too much. Some of us are working 2-3 jobs and we're still trying to run a side hustle. What do you think is going to happen to you? You cannot pour from an empty cup. I need you to understand that you cannot do it all. And if you feel like you're in a season where you need to prove yourself, remember that it's going to catch up on you health-wise. I've seen it happen to many people where they got sick because they came here, they're standing on their feet a long time, so they develop issues with their foot. People, they develop issues with their hand, because they're doing so much. What I tend to do is to remind myself that I'm not in competition with anybody. I'm not running out of time, because sometimes we feel like we're running out of time. I'm not running out of time. I have as much time as God is going to give me on this earth, and I would love to be here in a healthy state. And if whatever business opportunity that I have is going to make me lose myself mentally, physically, emotionally, it's not worth it. It's not going to be worth it. Number 8 on the list, I feel like this should be number 1, but not every opportunity is an opportunity. Some doors were meant to confuse you. Some doors were just meant to confuse you. Let me repeat, not every opportunity is actually an opportunity. Now, when I was doing my business, I got on Wayfair, Walmart, Amazon. I wasn't even making any sale on my online store yet. I didn't even build up anything yet. So when you're looking to scale your business, learn one platform before you move on to the next, because it's going to lead to what I just spoke about, burnout. You're not going to be able to master all of them all at once. So let me tell you, it's a good opportunity to be on these websites. And if you guys want me to go into how I got the opportunity to go on Wayfair and what steps I took, and if you want me to dive into that, the steps, I can do that down below in the comment section. Let me know. But my store is still up on Wayfair, even though I haven't populated that store with all of my products, right? Because I start doing one thing here and I start doing another thing here, and it's just, you have to have structure. I spoke about structure before. Structure in your business plan, structure in the way that you're gonna scale your business, and just know that you cannot do everything all at once because you're doing it alone. You're doing it while being a wife, being a mom, working a full-time job, maybe 1 or 2 or 3. So focus on one platform, be that it's your website. Then you take that, you say you want to go on Amazon or you want to go on Wayfair or Walmart, but do it in phases and do it one at a time. Number 9 on the list is that a product-based business in Canada really does take patience. The culture is a bit different here than in the States. I know you guys might be seeing a lot of people in the States saying that, they've been making 100K a month or whatever with their product-based business. I'm not saying it's not possible here in Canada. It's just that the population is less. Everything's move slower in terms of shipping. Shipping costs more as well. So like to ship from here, something from here to Toronto maybe costs roughly about the same amount of money as I would if I'm shipping to the States. Maybe a few dollars less than if I'm shipping to the States. So just know that a product-based business in Canada, it really does require patience. And I still do recommend that you network within your local community. If you live in an area like Calgary is a big city, and the surrounding cities here, imagine how many customers you can get in your actual local city versus just focusing on trying to get people online where, they can't really feel or touch your business, your product, right? This is the part that nobody prepares you for, but really starting your own business is going to change you. So that's my 10th thing. It's going to change you. You are going to learn patience. You are going to develop your own character. You are going to become a good marketer, a good salesperson, except in my case. But I don't really look at my business, closing my business, as a failure. I really look at it as graduation, because there's so many things that I learned about myself. My business humbled me, and it really did unearth a lot of talents and gifts that I had buried inside of me that I didn't know that I have. You know, it unleashed a certain level of confidence, you know, when speaking about myself and even, you know, talking about my business, because as I said, it was something that I was really passionate about. But, you know, I just feel like it's not the direction that God wants me to go in. I don't know. Maybe it's just on pause. But in this season, I feel like, you know, it's up in a pause. So if you're planning to start a business in Canada, I hope that you save this video and replay it when you hit your very first wall. Remember that entrepreneurship isn't glamorous, but it is rather transformative. Now, for the next chapters in my journey, I don't know, but I know that it's going to be aligned, purposeful, and driven by what God has in store for me. Now, if you found value in this video, please ensure that you like it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, because I'm about to teach you some things that I wish I knew before I started on my entrepreneurship journey, so that it doesn't cost you as much as it costs me. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.